subtopic number 5, which is on superposition of waves. So in this subtopic, you have to be able to state the principle of superposition of waves for the constructive and destructive interferences, use the standing wave equation, and lastly compare between progressive waves and standing waves. So the principle of superposition of waves state that when two or more waves are moving in the same region, the resultant displacement at any point is the vector sum of their individual displacement at that point. So mathematically, the equation of these two can just be added together. Okay, so interference pula adalah the interaction of two or more wave motions in the same region of space to produce what we call a resultant wave. Okay, so sekarang ni dia ada dua atau lebih waves lah. Lepas tu bila diorang bertembung, diorang akan create what we call a resultant wave, hasil dari the interference between the two waves. So y1 and y2 ni adalah the displacement of individual pulses at that point. Okay, so this is a table explaining to you about constructive interference and destructive interference. So constructive interference ni, it occurs only when the displacement caused by the two pulses are in the same direction. Okay, so both equations tu adalah either net positive ataupun both either negative. Okay, so this interference would produce a displacement that is larger than the displacement of either of the two individual waves. So contohnya sekarang ni both they are moving towards each other, so they would create a resultant wave. So the amplitude is twice lah, double the amplitude of each waves. After that, after dorang bertembung ni, dorang balik lagi lah begitu. Okay, they emerging pulses are unchanged lah. And then for destructive interference, it occurs when the displacement caused are in the opposite directions. So satu positive, satu lagi negative. So it will produce a displacement that is smaller than the displacement of the either of the individual waves. So satu di bawah, satu di atas. So bila diorang bertembung, dia akan cancel each other lah. So dia akan 0. So after that, baru diorang move pergi mana-mana yang diorang mau. Biarlah jalan lah balik wave tu. Okay? Okay, itu untuk constructive. Yeah. Next, kita belajar standing waves. Tadi kita sudah belajar progressive wave. Sekarang kita perlu belajar standing wave. So standing wave ni adalah is defined as a form of wave in which the profile of the wave does not move through the medium. So there's no movement through the medium. So how do we produce standing waves? We can produce it by it is only formed when there are two progressive waves. Two progressive waves of same speed, frequency, amplitude, which are traveling in the opposite direction are superimposed. Superimposed ni yang di sini lah, apa yang berlaku di sini. Okay, so they are superimposed. So in observing the stationary waves, there is no sense of motion in the direction of propagation. So kita tidak boleh tengok dia sekarang ni bergerak ke kanan ataupun ke kiri. Atau okay, dia tidak movement yang kita boleh nampak. So that's why, because of that, they call it stationary wave. Kenapa? Sebab it does not appear to be travelling. Dia macam ni je, tapi dia ada movement. Cuma we cannot see, we cannot sense that motion. Okay? Yalah, begitulah. Itulah standing waves. So, lepas tu kamu perlu understand the term for antinote. Ni adalah your antinote. This middle part here is your note. Okay, so note is n lah, label dia n. So it is defined as a point at which the displacement is 0. So this is where destructive interference occur. Antinote pula, it is when the displacement is at maximum. So that is where constructive interference occurred. Okay? Dia nampak ba kan note ni? Boleh ba? Okay, now equation of standing waves is this one lah. So let's assume two waves with the same amplitude, frequency, and wavelength traveling in opposite direction in the medium. So kita ada y1, y2. So bila dorang limpas each other, both waves interfere. They will interfere according to the principle of superposition. So kita boleh add them together. So add these two together will give us this equation here. Okay, so this equation here is telling us about the superposition of the waves. So kalau soalan tanya apa dorang punya superimpose punya wave punya equation, this is how you determine the equation lah. This is the general equation. So A is the maximum amplitude of the individual progressive waves. So A di sini progressive waves lah, they are moving kan. And then dia punya 2A ni adalah the maximum amplitude of the standing waves that form, yang ini. So ini adalah your progressive waves. Yang ini adalah your standing waves. Gitu, okay? 2A cos kx ni adalah the amplitude of standing waves at any position x. So kalau soalan tanya apa amplitude at x equal to blah blah blah, kamu guna yang ini. Okay? Okay. Below is the schematic representation of the standing waves with an indefinite number of nodes and antinodes. Okay. So ini node. Okay. Ini your antinode lah. So the distance between adjacent antinodes is lambda over 2. Distance between adjacent nodes is also lambda over 2. Distance between a node and adjacent antinode is is lambda over 4. Lepas tu the amplitude of the vertical oscillation depends on the horizontal position of the particle. Each particle would vibrate within the confines of the envelope function. So this is the function lah. So the particle is vibrating within this envelope, what we call envelope. Okay, macam tu lah. Okay, yeah. Ini bukan dua string kamu akan pemdak begini, ni satu string je. Cuma this is telling you after dia begitu adalah motion di sebelah sini juga nanti begitu. Okay. Okay, so the difference between progressive and standing wave is shown here. Ini kamu boleh baca aja lah, very simple. Okay, sekarang let us try to let us do the example number 8. So let me just quickly find the solution because I don't want to think. I want to follow solution saja. Nanti salah. Tapi kan, mana ba solution dia ni? Ada, sakit kepala saya. Two identical waves. No, not that one. There's a lot of examples. Oh my god, it's not here. I can't find it. Okay, jumpa sudah. Okay, so example A, two harmonic waves are represented by this equation here. So x and y is in centimeter and t is in seconds. So we have to write an expression for the new wave when both waves are superimposed and determine the amplitude of the new one. So this is your y1, this is your y2. So y is equal to y1 plus y2, which is equal to k. Apa tu sama sa k pula, salah pula. 2a cos kx dulu. Cos kx sin omega t. So basically kita punya equation ni mesti begini nanti. Okay. So y is equal to y1. So 3 sin pi t plus pi x. Kamu tunjuk solution kamu macam ni. So 3 sin pi t minus pi x. Lepas tu dia akan equal to yang ni lah. Kamu buat je macam ni balik. So twice the amplitude. So 2 kali 3 berapa? 6. So 6. Lepas tu cos k. K dia berapa di sini? K dia adalah pi. So tulislah pi balik. Pi x. Lepas tu omega dia mana satu? Omega. Omega is kita punya omega. Salah pula. Ni ba k? Ini omega. Kan? Progressive waves. Ni omega k. So maksudnya kita punya omega based on this graph, based on this equation is pi. K is pi juga. So ini adalah ini adalah omega, ini adalah k. Okay, so itu je kamu perlu ingat. So kx sin omega is pi omega t. Dapatlah dia punya expression for the new wave. And then now we have to determine the new amplitude of the new one. That is just 2 kali the amplitude. So, kamu letak jelas sana. 6 cm. Amplitude is 6 cm. Gitu cara buat. Okay? Alright, so that is on subtopic number 5.